So Gerg responded to my video where I called him out about not acknowledging his behavior on a website called Kiwi Farms. I'm not going to elaborate any further as I think most of you seeing this video are familiar with it, but if you're not, you can find the video in my description. Gerg's response was in the form of a now deleted comment that luckily was archived by this guy named Albert, so thank you so much. If you'd like to read the full comment, I've pinned it in the original video, which I've also given my full reply to. Now, Gerg actually replied to that comment, explaining why he deleted his original response to my video, stating that he didn't want to engage in the drama further, and honestly, I see that to be a perfectly valid response. And while some people might not agree with that notion, I won't hit on him for that. My reason for making this follow-up video is to not only address Gerg's response, but also to address some comments you guys made on my original video. The first point Gerg addresses in his comment is on what I've said in Kiwi Farms as a whole. I'm not going to cover this for that long because I know that most of you are here to see his response to his specific posts, and not his ideas on the forum as a whole, so if you'd like to skip, I'll put the timestamp on the screen here. All I want to say is that it's clear that we have completely different views on Kiwi Farms and how people should handle not liking people on the internet. I'm aware that some of these people attacked by this forum are genuinely horrible people that deserve to be punished for what they did. But, time and time again, when we've seen groups like these go on these harassment campaigns, there's always collateral damage. Whether or not it's their families, friends, or just completely unrelated people who were simply unlucky. As I've said in my reply, when it comes to attacking someone who's been confirmed to be genuinely horrible, then the acceptability of that is very gray, and not black and white at all. My main concern is that when there's attack against those kinds of people, there's another attack against other innocent people who are basically bundled in with that person on the basis of identity. Now, I'd like to talk about what Gerg had to say about including Kiwi Farms in his video. Gerg states that he actually did record a segment on Kiwi Farms, but cut it from his video, stating concerns of politics, his younger viewers, and runtime. Now, I do find the point he made about runtime to be a little silly, as he could just not add that part of his response to the video, but because I don't know what his original recording said, maybe that might have not been possible. The other 2 points he made actually are pretty good though. Because Kiwi Farms is an inherently political topic, he decided that it'd be best to not include it, as including politics into your content is not a good idea, especially when your videos cater towards younger audiences. That actually segues into the last point he made about how he didn't feel comfortable talking about it in his video, where he has so many young viewers, and that he was pushing his boundaries on the matter. When it comes to those 2 points, I can see why he came to that conclusion, and I mostly agree with him. As I stated in my reply, I think he could have at least made a community post about it to acknowledge that fact. Now to address what he said about the actual post he made in my video. The first point he mentions is that he knew about Pixul's video, which I was aware of because he mentioned it in his own video. I meant to say that as a segue into explaining the content of a post he made, but I admit that was poor planning on my part. I apologize for saying that in my video as if it's new knowledge, because it's not. In the second point, he explains that he was upset with Pixul's video and wasn't actually just thinking about the money, as he was just happy that the damage was minimal. I called this behavior sociopathic originally, because it looked like he did it for the money. But as he and many other viewers have pointed out, YouTube is his full-time job, and that he was just seeing the situation from a business standpoint. Honestly, after seeing his perspective on that post, as well as many other opinions on the matter, I realized I was being narrow-minded and being quick to assume that he was a sociopath for doing this for the money. So I'd like to apologize as I no longer believe in what I've said in that video regarding this point. The one thing I still do agree with, though, is his choice of language regarding the matter, which I will kind of explain further in the next point. I'm going to lump these third and fourth points together, as I feel they kind of connect to each other in topics. Gerg defended his takes as he saw it as making fun of extremely horrible people. Just to be clear, I don't want to defend those people, as I agree that they are terrible and should be punished accordingly for what they did. What I found an issue with was, despite knowing the things that have been done by the people he's attacking, instead of attacking them for things that they have done, he instead attacks them based on their social group, which is possibly the worst way to go about that. I believe that when you take criminals and then only attack them for their gender, race, age, sexuality, and more, you only inflict stereotypes on them, and it just leads to innocent people being attacked who might happen to have similar orientations. When it comes to the illegal harassment campaign I said he partook in my video, Gerg says he wasn't actually joining the campaign and is only making fun of her, which isn't illegal. The reason I included this in my video is because when I went through the thread he replied to, it was a thread that had many people who were actively harassing Anissa, something which is illegal. When I saw Gerg replying to the thread with similar energy, I saw it as a confirmation that he did partake in the action as well. After going through the thread even more, I see now that while he did join in on insulting her in the forum, it seems that he did not join the targeted attacks, unless there's another post he made confirming otherwise that I didn't find or was deleted. Therefore, I apologize for saying he was an active member of the harassment campaign, although I will say that him being present on a thread that does contain the actual harassment campaign, which is illegal in the UK, and enabling it by joining their insults is still not a good look at all, and he should be wary of that. The final point Gerg makes is referring to when I look at a comment he made talking about his beliefs on transsexuality and how extremely young individuals shouldn't be going through hormone replacement therapy, which, if that was his only take, I 100% agree with. However, what I was explaining both in my reply and in my video was that you framed it as if that's what people had a problem with, when it wasn't. What people had a problem with was his Kiwi Farms posts. Moving forward, Gerg then reclarifies that he didn't include this in his video as he deemed it inappropriate for younger audiences. He then says that he didn't think people would care as he's a Minecraft YouTuber and his political opinions weren't the concern of anyone. Unfortunately, I think that when your presence is as sizable as Gerg's, people will care about your political opinions, especially when you make content that can influence children. I'm not trying to say Gerg's content is political because it isn't, but when your digital footprint leads to your opinions being left on public display, it is a guarantee that younger audiences will be influenced by them. I respect that Gerg did acknowledge that, in his own words, he is a 100% asshole, and that he regrets the post he made. I appreciate that he took the time to give such a long and proper response to my relatively unknown video when he could have easily brushed it off. At the end of the day, my main concern is his younger audience who loves Gerg for his chaotic, high-energy videos covering redstone that are hard to find on YouTube today. These kids are here for funny Minecraft skits, and so when it's just as easy to find his political takes as it is to find his own videos, there's a lot of room for conflict as you've seen here. Anyway, Gerg did reply to my reply, further cementing my belief that his younger fans should be the top priority. He gives a quick statement about an email he received from a fan who was upset with the words he said and wishes he could be more kind. Gerg agrees with them, as do I. Like I said, at the end of the day, the top priority for any Minecraft YouTuber with a young fanbase like Gerg's should be the children. And I think that the statements Gerg made regarding his beliefs was in poor taste, and I'm glad he can not only see that, but has the accountability to admit it. Now that I've addressed Gerg's response, I'd like to address some of the things and arguments you guys have said. A very common response I received on the video was, Gerg's audience isn't young, to see that it's okay for him to make edgy and potentially offensive statements. This is not true, as Gerg himself admitted in the comment he made under my video that the main audience in his channel is young children. Moving on, another common statement was that nobody cares if Gerg uses Kiwi Farms. Okay, this is just plain wrong. Considering the fact that Gerg made a statement on it and that multiple videos were made on the fact, people clearly do care. Also, like I said a few seconds ago, he doesn't just have some children in his audience, it's his main audience. Saying things like this when you have so many young fans is a reason for concern. Another point people made is that Gerg himself didn't want to address the situation initially. I know I talked about this in the very beginning, but some people might have skipped my explanation. So I'm fully aware of this, and I meant it as a way to lead into a statement I no longer believe in. You can use the timestamps in the description to skip back to where I explain this further. There were other things people said, but I feel like those were the most common points, so I wanted to address them. Before I end this video, there is something I'd like to say. When Gerg made his original comment before he deleted it, a bunch of people replied to his comment with a multitude of slurs and extremely offensive messages. I understand if you're angry with Gerg, and rightfully so, but to attack him because he's gay and calling him a bunch of slurs is literally making you no better than he is. The whole point of the video was to address an issue that was originally ignored. To then use the exact same energy against him that people hated on him for is only adding fuel to the fire. I've had to delete 15% of my comment section, all coming from both sides of this conflict because they were either a bunch of slurs or literal death threats. Causing extreme hate was not my intention at all with this video, but I admit I was being incredibly wrong in not realizing this would happen. As a result, I will be unlisting the original video in 24 hours. I will leave a link to it in my description so you can still watch it, but it will no longer appear in my channel or in the YouTube algorithm. Furthermore, I'm probably not going to make any more videos on this topic unless a massive development is made. I think if I were to make any more content on this drama, I'll just be grifting. Some of you said you liked the way I made my first video, or the way I spoke, including Gerg himself apparently. I know a lot of you who subscribe to my channel are only there because I spoke on the drama, so you guys probably don't care. But if you want me to make non-drama related content, just let me know. I've never done this whole YouTube thing, so it's just new territory for me. Stay safe.